hard to get your mind to agree with your heart. But what I'm trying to do at the age of 25, I'm trying to begin to let those two things agree. Like, yes, maybe I have more to accomplish, but my heart knows that God is going to take me there. So regardless of what I see, my mind sees, it needs to agree that with my heart, that God has me regardless. So now we're going to get into the 5 lessons I've learned before 25 that I hope to take on for the rest of my life. Most of the time, it has nothing to do with you, and it's easier to extend grace than get offended. Oh my God, guys. The version of yourself that you imagine, you are her. You just have to either step into her, you're either creating her, or you're already her, and you just haven't realized it. Do life with him. I hope you're a believer if you're watching. If you're not, please know that Jesus does love you, and he wants a relationship with you, and the only step you need to take is towards him, and he's going to carry you along the way. So, hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Life as Maya. Wow, we're back on the couch. Little did you guys know, I was going to give up this type of like format of filming because solo episodes just make me uncomfortable in a sense, like talking, like I love chatting with you guys, but I'm just like, do you guys even like just chatting with me? So I'm just going to do cooking videos, and then when I have guests on, kind of go back and forth from doing like sit downs or cooking with each other. But I just feel like there's so much to say, and I can't always wait until I have a guest. So here I am. You know, they say if you really love and desire something and then try to give it up and it keeps going back, it's obviously for a purpose. So that's what I'm just going to hope for. How have you guys been? How's life? Right now we're still in November. You know, we're about to go to Thanksgiving, we're about to see some family. So I know that can be very exciting, but also nerve-wracking, and just all the feelings of what it looks like to be different and going back to family. So this video really doesn't even have anything to do with family, but has everything to do with me. that sounds a little selfish, but you know, it's true. We're talking about all things frontal lobe development. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how it felt to turn 25 and realize that everything they said about what your thinking would change, or how you would just be, like you would think differently. The things that you used to do, you would see so differently. I swear, it's like a switch. Everyone says that, and I didn't want to believe them. Like, y'all are all being dramatic. You know, when you turn 25, someone tells you to say this. No, it is true. I feel like I began to think so much differently than I ever did at any different age of my life. But 25, when I turned 25, it was like a switch. And I don't know, frontal lobe development, maybe it's the oldest you've been, so like you become more wiser. I don't know, maybe I feel like another switch next year, but this year was really like a marker of like, I just felt different and I thought different, and it was just a whole bunch of things. So I've been wanting to do a video for a while of like lessons I would have wanted to learn before 25, but honestly I think because of the things I've been through, things I've experienced, and how I got here, I feel like it was all in purpose. So I'm going to talk about lessons I've learned, the midlife crisis I feel like I'm going through. No, not even midlife crisis, quarter life crisis. Because, you know, midlife is, they say that happens around 50. And just like frontal lobe development. So I have a few notes that I want to go down with you. And basically, we're going to start with the decisions that I've made that I don't think I would have now at this age. And then we're going to work into some other stuff, but then I want to end it off with like 5 lessons that I've learned becoming 25 that I'm going to take, I feel at least, in this phase of my life. I'm going to take it to the rest of my life because I want to end on a cute little bow note. So some of these aren't even serious, honestly, but decisions I've made I don't think I would have at 25. Tattoos. Something about not having any tattoos right now just sits well with me. Like, I love, like, none of the tattoos I have are like bad in a sense, but they're just decisions I wouldn't have made. I got my first tattoo when I was, I think, 18 or 19 in college, and it was a cross on my side. not a bad tattoo. Could live without it, honestly. And then I got my mom's name on my arm. Again, not a bad tattoo. Could live without it. When I'm wearing a dress, when I'm wearing short sleeves, it's just there. And so, again, could have lived without it. If I was going to get tattoos now, it would probably be just small, dainty tattoos. But there's not a tattoo that I want right now. So I just don't know if I would have done tattoos. Also, the same with piercings. I did get my belly pierced when I was younger. Wouldn't have done it. I mean, it's out now. It's not a big deal. But at this age, I don't think I would have done it. I think I would have. I love the dogs that I have now. So I feel like this is kind of wrong to say. But I'm just going to be honest. Like, I love the dogs that I have. But I just think I would have either one, waited to get a pet until I was more financially stable, because dogs are expensive, especially dogs. Like, dogs are a pretty penny, and they cost a lot of responsibility. So when me and my husband want to travel, it's not, and my husband's gonna actually hate me for saying this because he doesn't agree with any of this. This is me. But it's just like having a kid. We gotta find a dog sitter. Dog sitters aren't always free. They're expensive. And I'm just not so like ignorant, and I didn't do research. I got a short-haired dog thinking that will prevent shedding, when that is the most shedding dog that I have ever. But I love Nala. I just think I would have thought that is a decision that that I'm not saying is a bad decision. I'm just saying this just goes to show like how I was making decisions like this without thinking them through. And at 25, I think about a lot of my decisions way more thoroughly. I don't know if that's the people who love pets. I feel like they're gonna come for me, so I don't know if that's even staying in. And I'm not even about to over-explain myself. I love my dogs. They're still here, like, well taken care of. They live a good life. So I don't even have to explain that. I think I would have dated differently. Obviously, I'm married, and it ended up right for me. But I'm saying prior to, there was people that I dated that couldn't even get a high out of me today. That's me. Anybody can get a high out of me, honestly. Anybody can honestly get a conversation. Boy, girl, any stranger. I will yap to anybody. But I just think I gave so much of my time to a few people who didn't deserve that at all. So what I would say to the girl who was younger than 25, especially in college, because that's when a lot of your like true dating experiences happen, I would just say, like, allow these men or women, I don't know, you might be a man watching, but when you're going on dates and stuff, really, like, don't go on a date with the mindset, like, oh, I hope they like me. It's, do I like them? Like, and allow them to talk. I am a yapper, clearly. I am a yapper, so I would leave a date being like, wow, I learned so much about him. Oh my God, we laughed so much. Girl, he laughed at your jokes. You learned so much about him. You didn't even I didn't give them the opportunity. It just shows me that, like, oh, you weren't even that interested to, like, ask questions back. And a lot of the men I dated were boring. I just would have done it so differently. But again, it brought me to where I am, so I'm not saying that, like, it was a bad decision. Just decisions I don't think I would have made or would have done differently. I would have even done friendships differently. A part of a lot of the friendship issues a friendship conflict that I had prior to being 25 was I didn't know how to, in a sense, compartmentalize my friendships. If I got along with you and I got along with you, I thought all of us in the room together, we could all get along. But sometimes that caused so much unnecessary tension, because if those two not getting along and I'm closest to them and they wouldn't have been to me about each other, that puts me in a sticky situation. And it's just like, and it goes way deeper than that. But as far as friendships, the same way, you know, we can be sometimes intentional with dating slowly, I would say, like, with your friendships, also move into those slowly as well. Because just like when dating, people put personas on, sometimes that is how friendships are too. And you could think this person's nice, this person's genuine, and they have the best intentions, but in reality, they just don't. And I think that's another way I would have done friendships differently is honestly, up until 24, this version of me just came about. But if I meet someone, they're kind, they're sweet, we get along, we have a couple things in common, I'm automatically putting them in a close friend category. Not like automatically besties, but I'm thinking that we have the potential to be really, really close, and I treat them as such. Instead of just being like, this is like, when people would be like, oh, she's a, like we talk, but I wouldn't call her a friend. I'm like, y'all talk, but you wouldn't call her a friend? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But I understand it more. Like, I'm not that strict now where I have all these boundaries before I call you a friend. But I understand why people say, like, you know, that's not a close friend of mine, but she's cool, or like, I just get why people move slowly in friendships now, because the version you see of someone when they first come to you, it's not always the version you're gonna get the closer you guys get. But once you allow someone so close to you and you allow them to hurt you, or you see this, if you allow someone so close to you, you see a new version of them, now they have more room to hurt you. If you would have just moved slowly, see who this person is, and if they would have revealed whatever parts of them that you may just not agree with, if they weren't that close to you, you have less of a betrayal, a grieving season of that friendship, or anything like that. And so, friendships was a really big one I think I would have done differently. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed with the friendships that I do have now. And we've grown together. We've learned lessons together. A lot of the friendships that I've had. And they've probably caught some really bad strays from me too. Because I was just growing as a person and trying to figure out if I should trust people and all the things. But the friendships that I have now, I genuinely love, and cherish. And anybody that I meet now, I just carry that mindset of, you know, it's not really dating, but like, you know, I'm gonna get to really know you and stuff before I just allow you in my inner circle. And yeah, hope that makes sense. That one I rambled a bit. But moving on to the quarter life crisis. So at 25, I swear the switch of thinking different happened, but like, what am I doing with my life happened too. And that was so scary. That was so scary to be like, oh my God, everything I've done to this point was a waste, or I've done things so badly that like I need to start all over. Like, oh my God. And then 25 is not old at all, but you feel like this is the oldest I've ever been. I'm about to be closer to 30 than I ever have been. Like, I'm closer to 30 than I was 20, like 18, 19, 20, 21. People be like, baby, you young, you can figure it out. Like, there's still so much time for you. But at 25, people looking at you a little bit more like strictness. They like, oh, what do you do with your life? Let me stop. We're going to get into the positives, but here's some feelings I felt when I turned 25 that felt like I was in a quarter life crisis, and I was just like, what is going on? Yeah, feeling like to this point I've done things so wrong, but how happy I am it has happened. So again, dating, friendships, even the way I did college, like literally the thing I got my degree in, where I went to my first job. There's so many things I could pick apart myself for. You should have went to college for this. Then instead of going straight into the workforce, you should have got your master's. And instead of being friends with her, you should have been friends with these people. Instead of dating this guy, you should have dated this guy. Instead of getting an internship this year, you should have been getting it all 4 years. Like, there's so many things I could easily pick myself apart about. And some, maybe rightfully so, maybe. But I think when I turned 25 and I realized where I was in life and felt like maybe I'm not where exactly I wanted to be, I started to blame myself for being like, well, if you would have did all these things differently, then you would have been here. But who's to say that I would have? Who's to say that I wouldn't have still ended up in a different place and still not been happy with that place? And the thing is, I'm not unhappy with where I am. There's so much more that I want. But I was in an unrealistic crash out of being like, oh my God, I'm 25. You think this is what it's going to look like at 25, and it's absolutely going to look so differently. It's going to look so differently. But there's also so many parts of my life where I'm like, wow, I didn't believe that I would achieve this at 25. Like, I didn't believe that I would be married at 25. Like, I didn't think I would get married till later on. But the fact that I found my husband, the fact that, I've lived in an apartment that I love, like, the 18, 19-year-old version of me didn't think that I would be able to live and such a beautiful apartment. Um, the fact that like I'm on YouTube consistently. I have a food page that's like growing on TikTok and Instagram. I have a business at 25. I'm an entrepreneur at 25. Like those are so many things that I wouldn't have been able to write myself and think that would happen. So I don't want you guys to think that like I'm just unhappy with where I am. But at the same thing, like two things can be true. There's still so much more I want to do, and so much more I felt like if I would have done, maybe things would have ended up differently. So that is, if you were going through that when you turn 25, or even if you're going through it before 25 or after 25, I think you should just give yourself grace and knowing that like truly, truly, truly everything happens for a reason. And if you're a believer, I hope you're a believer, but knowing that like God has a plan for your life regardless. And if you make a wrong turn, if you meet God at that wrong turn, He's gonna put you right back on the track, or right back on the journey that He decided to, that He has already decided for your life. So that's like where I try to put my faith in, and just try to remind myself that the things, regardless of the decisions I've made, God is a redeemer, and He can redeem time. He can redeem mistakes. He can redeem you. He can redeem everything. Like that's just that. Like He can do it, and you're not too late. You're not too early. You're exactly where you need to be, and God is going to use wherever you are to get you to where He needs you to be. And I think it's just like yielding to that I'm learning more at 25 more than anything. And it's not an easy process. It is hard to sometimes feel like I'm doing all things wrong and I don't know if God's happy with me. I don't know if He's pleased with me. But what I'm starting to just make my mind and heart agree on is, in my heart, I know that God loves me. In my heart, I know that He has a plan for me. In my heart, I know that He's brought me out of so many situations that He's going to do it again, right? But in your mind, because sometimes our mind is just so logical and it sees the world as just like black and white, it's hard to get your mind to agree with your heart. But what I'm trying to do at the age of 25, I am trying to begin to let those two things agree. Like, yes, maybe I have more to accomplish, but my heart knows that God is going to take me there. So regardless of what I see, my mind sees, it needs to agree that with my heart, that God has me regardless. And I hope that makes sense. And I just want, that's what I'm training myself to do. But I also hope that you guys are doing the same, that wherever you are is exactly where you need to be. And there is still so much more time to accomplish what you need, especially at 25. Like, being that age, it feels like, girl, I mean, I'm sure people who are older than me, it's like, girl, of course it's okay. Like, you're even crazy for thinking that it's not. But being that age, it feels like there's so much more pressure. Like, and it's like, and we can get into where that pressure comes from. That's a whole different video, but you're okay. I'm okay. We're okay. Because I turned 25 in July. It's November now. So it took me some months of trying to tell myself that I'm okay. But I'm okay. Even that during this quarter life crisis, I was really, really shocked by how much responsibility we were given at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Like, I cannot believe you graduate high school where you're under the authority of someone else, like, from as soon as you, really before school, but honestly, right when you're born to the age of 18, you are given where to be, how to dress, and how to dress can be, oh, maybe your parents were strict, but you're not allowed to wear this if you go into school. So it's always somebody telling you what to do, what schedule to be on, what to do next. And then at 18, whether you go to college, unless you go to the military, then I guess you're still under that structure. But you go to college, you go to just the world, you do anything after that point, it's like, it's on you, figure it out. Like, no, wow. I think that's so crazy. That we are given so much direction for so much of our lives, and then at one point it's like, okay, yeah, if you want to go to class, you can go to class, but it's on you. If you want to get a job, you can. If you want to get an internship, you should, but you can't. And I guess I'm talking more to the college and then after aspect, because that's just what I was going through. And then after you graduate, you get a job and you're in charge of going to work on time. You're in charge of like doing your job to the best of your abilities. And then put on that, you quit your job, become an entrepreneur, and now I'm in charge of my schedule, my finances, when to be, how to do this, what to do. Like, that's a lot. That is a lot. And I was just struggling with like, this is a beautiful freedom that I wanted, but I'm struggling in a sense of what do I do with all this? No one's telling me what to do. More parts of my life I've been told what to do than the other parts of my life I've been able to tell myself what to do. So you're under this like mindset of always wanting a structure, always wanting somebody to guide you, but when it's just up to you to guide your life how you desire, obviously under, the authority of God, but even still there is free will. So it's just, that part was hard for me to wrestle with because I am a person who loves structure. I'm a type A person to my core. So I like for someone to be like, hey, this is your schedule. This is like, that's something I like. So, and being in a season where I don't have that, that's been a bit of a struggle for me, but I'm also trying to look at the beauty of it. This is such a blessing to have the freedom to do with your time and be able to enjoy the journey of like what your hard work and your choosings will blossom in the next phase of life. Like, I can't wait till the day I look back and be like, wow, all the things that you've done have paid off in this way because of the Lord and you yielding to his plan. So crazy, right? So crazy. So now we're going to get into the 5 lessons I've learned before 25 that I hope to take on for the rest of my life. First one, most of the time, it has nothing to do with you, and it's easier to extend grace than get offended. Oh my God, guys. I feel like, I don't know where this stems from, but a lot of the time I take things very personal. I would take things like that was a dig at me, and I would be offended. But what I've learned since becoming to this age is a lot of the times what people have going on in their life, the attitude the waiter had, the attitude your friend had with you that day, your man coming home mad, like a lot of times it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with what they have going on. And if you've ever been in a place of having an attitude and just giving it to the wrong person, you should be able to extend grace to whoever that person looks like. And not all the time just the attitude per se, but maybe someone didn't show up for you in the way that you wanted them to. But that's because they were going through something of their own and they didn't know how to communicate it. And I just rather, like, instead of letting our thoughts go to, all the wonders of like why they didn't show up for me because they don't like me, because they don't care about me. Like, what if we just let our thoughts go to maybe they had a lot going on, and if they were to fit me in this, it would have added a whole nother responsibility to their plate, and then that could have been their last straw. I don't know, but maybe instead of our thoughts going to this was an offense against me, let's go into how can I extend this person grace because I'm sure they're going through a lot. I'm sure they didn't mean to, and all the things. I was recently listening to a podcast, and it was like, sometimes it's not a hard conversation you need to have with the person. Maybe it's just a hard conversation you need to have with yourself, or take it to God before you're always trying to have these hard conversations with people. And I used to pride myself and be like, oh, if it's a problem, I'm going to talk to that person. I'm never going to let it sit. Not even confrontation. We're just going to have a hard conversation. Girl, it's enough of the hard conversations. Sometimes it doesn't need to be a conversation. Extend grace, move on, and that's so much easier to do than to hold on to the offense. Second one, it is the little things that matter. Family, friends, travel experiences, most other things do not matter. That's very self-explanatory, but like truly the little things, it's the little things that build up to make you happy. It's not always about the fancy car. For some people, that is the little things. But for me, I've just noticed, like, if I have good friends, a good night in is all I need. My husband and me going to watch a movie, like, I don't need to always go to the fanciest restaurant with him. It's nice when we do, but the little things, like us going to the grocery store, getting some popcorn, coming back and watching movies, like, that's when I find myself looking up at him and being like, wow, I love you so much. Like, this is such a great night. And he's like, you're so easy to please. But it really is the little things. And yeah, find out what those little things. I love the TikTok trend where they're like, this is what I put on my dopamine menu for this month, and it was just like going out with your friends, a cup of coffee, like the little things is what builds so much joy in your life, and that's what you should just focus on. Sometimes stop looking at the big picture and just what's the little things in your life that you can cater to, curate, and it becomes so cute. It makes you happy. You are who you think you are. You either just haven't fully become her, or you're too scared to step into what God has called you to be. Anything that you have on your heart, anything that like keeps you awake at night, anything that you just can't get out your head, whether it's a dream, a passion, whatever it is, the reason it's on your heart is because God has placed it in you, and the version of yourself that you imagine, you are her. You just have to either step into her, you're either creating her, or you're already her and you just haven't realized it. So that's what I've had to learn. Like, the person I think I am, I really am. Like, I wouldn't put myself in this who I think I am category if I wasn't her. Like, the desires of my heart are there for a reason, and I just have to step into them to become that person that I already know that I am. You are who you think you are. And you should know that before 25, after 25, and at 25. I kind of already touched this one already. Was basically, I'm not going to even, I already talked about this, so I'm just going to go into lesson number 4. Try it all the careers, all the food, all the positions, all the hobbies. Right now, I'm short. If you're at 25, if you're before 25, the beauty of your age right now, and even after 25, honestly, but there's no but. At any age that you're at, but specifically to the women who are in my stage of life, you can try it all. You can start over and quit and do it again so many times. Like, that is the beauty of realizing that you can do it at this age, because you have so much more time. You have time always. You can start over and try again at 40. But what I'm saying is, at 20, we feel like we need to have it all together. We pick this career, we gotta stick it out and see. If that's your way of life, go there. But if you're a person who has all these passions and you want to try all these hobbies, try them all, because one will stick. The one thing that you love is going to stick, and that's when you're going to realize this is where I should be. But you won't realize it if you picked at 18 when they told you had to pick a college degree and stick to it, and you picked being a lawyer, but at 25 you realize I have a passion for cooking. I really don't like law that much, and I just want to be a chef. Let me do it. I'm literally talking to myself. But that's where I find my happiness. And I find my happiness in hosting and curating events and cooking. Like, that's where I find, if I never would have, sold plates in college and did it in high school as well, and then still was working at Pepsi, and I could have just been like, well, I'm just going to drop food and didn't start my food page, I would have never realized that the person I've been wanting to be is a chef, and I can just start over and try again. And then if 2 years from now I realize I actually don't really like cooking that much, I like podcasting, I'm going to be a podcaster. Guess what? I'm going to start over and do it again, because maybe that'll stick. And I know there won't always be days that you love the thing that you're doing, but I think it's okay to start over and go again. Not everything that works out is meant to be forever. Maybe it was just a season in your life. Not everything that doesn't work out in this season means that it's not going to. I'm just going in too deep. This is the lesson I've learned. It's okay to try multiple things, because in those trials and in those tryings, you find out what you really love and what you're passionate about. And you will see, you will know what's supposed to stick. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. The biggest piece, my last piece of, or advice, lesson, whatever, one of the lessons I've learned before 25 that I will surely carry into the rest of my life is so much more, definitely not easier, that's not the word. Life is so much more better when you're walking with Jesus. When you get to walk and yield and consult and pray and talk to God, every decision and every step of your life, it is so much better. I have experienced walking in life without him, or putting him on the back burner and not prioritizing him. And I've experienced what it looks like to prioritize God, to consult him in every decision, and to be in his word and to pray and to be around a community of people who are also just yearning for his love. And it is so much better. It's not always easier, but it's so much better. It's so much more peaceful, and it's just something so beautiful about knowing, like, regardless, God is in control of my life, and that he wants what's best for me, and because that, he will give it to me. And whatever that timeline looks like, whatever season that looks like God wants what's best for me, so he's not going to withhold anything good for me unless it's just not the time for me to have it. So do life with him. I hope you're a believer if you're watching. If you're not, please know that Jesus does love you, and he wants a relationship with you, and the only step you need to take is towards him, and he's going to carry you along the way. So guys, I hope this video was good. I hope you were blessed by it in some way, shape, or form. I hope you were cozied up. Maybe you were cooking while you're listening to me. That's always my favorite when people say, like, I put you on when I was getting dressed, or I put you on when I was cooking. Like, yes, just listen to me out. I do really love you guys for supporting, watching, doing all the things. I'm back to my weekly posts, and you guys have been seeing it, so, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.